This crispy chicken is from a taco place.
This crispy chicken is from a taco place?
The taco place?
Taco place. It comes in a burrito, too?
From your taco place, it's also a chicken place that's also a taco place.
It's the fall kickoff sale at Lithia Ford of Boise. It's the best time to trade in and trade up to a new Ford truck or SUV with a room to haul your payload or playload. Visit Lithia Ford of Boise, where Ford begins in Idaho.
Bronco fans, the new Boise State trading cards are here, and you can only get them at Jackson's.
Start collecting them today.
Jackson's, let's go!
When I want Boise State to win, I trust Coach Rice to lead the Broncos to victory.
And when I want the best painting and garage floor coating, I trust rowpaint.com to get that job done right.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Bronco Nation News Live is the only daily show that talks nothing but Boise State sports. And we do it with you. Give us your comments or questions in the ICCU YouTube chat. Or leave us a voicemail on the Signature Roofing voice inbox at speakpipe.com/BNN. BNN Live is presented by our title sponsor, RowPaint.com, the official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics, and our major sponsors, Jackson's, Taco Bell, Idaho Central Credit Union, Lithia Ford of Boise, and the Blue and Orange Store. For more coverage of Boise State athletics, check out the all-new BroncoNationNews.com, now part of the 247 Sports family. Now, here's five-time NSMA Idaho Sports Writer of the Year, BJ Rains, with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
All right, how we doing? Happy game week, Bronco Nation. My name's BJ Rains. We got Mike Prater, KTIK, The Ticket. We are with Bronco Nation News. Today, we are down here at Albertson Stadium outside the practice field, to be exact, where Boise State here in just a couple of minutes, and we'll get started. Mike Prater, I'm going to make sure we're good on the audio here. If you guys can hear us okay, see us okay, let us know. And no, I'm going to switch the microphone here. Hold, give me a second. What did I screw up? Oh. Mike Prater, they can hear us out of the wrong microphone here. Might help us if I plug this into the right thing here. Give me 1 second. Mike, what's worse? I told you we had the signal. We have a signal at least. We just don't have the right mic. But they can hear us out of the computer mic. So we're sounding okay, just not as good as we will here in about 10 seconds.
No, it's kind of been a crazy morning. We both forgot that the school, we got stuck behind school buses. Boise State started school today. We're practicing here in a few minutes, but classes started. Traffic was kind of crazy, so I thought I was going to be late. I beat you by 2 minutes, but here we are, guys. That's the important thing.
All right, now we should be sounding okay. Let us know about that. Last time we didn't have the signal because I was taunting Winston Venable, and then I hit the wrong button and turned off our signal. We do have the handy 5G hotspot right now, so hopefully that is working okay. But Bronco Nation News Live, Mike Prater, BJ Rains, excited to be with you today. 3 days from kickoff. Barely 24 hours, maybe 30 hours since the football team tomorrow will fly down to South Florida. The BNN team will be leaving on Wednesday, and looking forward to getting down there and kicking off the season. We got a little appetite on last Saturday. My Jayhawks 1-0. A nice lot. And everybody on this show's happy. Fresno 0-1, and a couple games And then now things get going, obviously, here on Thursday.
You'll be happy. I spent the weekend in Jackpot and some golf with some buddies, and I won a lot of money on your Kansas Jayhawks.
There you go.
So I thought about you. I appreciate that very much. And obviously, Fresno State's got a lot of work to do, and so does UNLV.
Yes, we'll get into that as well. And I wanted one more touchdown. Kansas had first and goal from the 2, and they kneeled it there. Like 38-7 looks a lot better than 31-7, but it was a nice win. And they actually looked – Jeff Grimes, old friend around here, the offense wasn't very good last year with Jeff Grimes, and he went to Wisconsin. I know you're pumping your fist over there, but I was let's just say the offense looked a little better for Kansas this year without Jeff Grimes, and so I was not disappointed to see him leave last year. And that Kansas offense looks pretty good, but you're right. Mostly Fresno's got a lot of work to do.
Yep.
And you're right, too, with UNLV. That was a very scary one there for them going into the fourth quarter.
Boy, Idaho State doesn't give away 4 turnovers. They probably win that football game and send out a shocker on 0 week. And that's probably pretty good for the Mountain West and pretty good for Cody Hawkins as well. That's a win-win. It's an eye-opener for UNLV. They've got a lot of work to do, but we knew that going in. And maybe the throwing Idahoans and Pocatello can get some stuff done. But today, it's all about Boise State, South Florida.
Yeah, and they're going to be on the practice field here in about a half an hour. So we move the show up. Trickle out now. If you're watching the show live, we appreciate you guys for being here, the 202 of you that we have right now. I forgot to kind of mention that we'd be on early, Mike, so some people are going to be joining us here in 15 minutes and wondering why we're 20 minutes in already, and they'll be going back and rewatching this show a little later. By the way, don't forget Hawaii also beating Stanford.
That's right. That was a big one. I have to pat myself on the back. I predicted that one when Ball Game and I were talking about that last Friday. He was stunned that Hawaii was a favorite. I told him at media days that Hawaii's a pretty good football team this year. I think he voted them dead last. No, maybe he voted Nevada dead last. He put Jason Eck, his boy, way up top. I said Hawaii's going to be pretty darn good. Now they've got a one-man quarterback with one leg. We'll see how that plays out, but nice win for Hawaii as well.
Well, 3 days from the main event for folks in this town, Boise State football. By the way, there's Javen Buchanan walking by. I kind of like the street corner. We get to see a lot of athletes and other dignitaries walking by. Javen Buchanan.
Last time it was Dirk Cutter and Tyson Degenhart that we were standing on this corner.
And you know what? Yeah. Javen Buchanan's got his backpack. First day of class. Get to class, Javen. Get to class. He's first day of class here on campus. A little bit of buzz around the campus here.
It is. It's kind of cool. So I love being on campus. I love the energy. And we've been on here for about the last month, in terms of the practice, but it's been an empty parking lot and 108 football players. So it's a little bit different today. It's pretty cool. The band isn't playing over there in the main parking lot. It's always kind of fun when they're kind of warming up. I noticed they were warming up and doing some of their stuff. So the band's fired up. The football team's fired up. We're fired up. It must be football season.
We had our press conference on Saturday with Spencer Danielson. You can watch that video up on the Bronco Nation News YouTube channel. We stream that live, all Spencer Danielson weekly press conferences. Nate Potter, Eric Chenander. We will broadcast those live on Bronco Nation News. And Mike, there may have been a little hot mic at the beginning where I may have said something negative towards Fresno ahead of that Kansas game, and I was having a little fun saying that we can all agree on rooting against Fresno. So hopefully no one goes back and that makes it anywhere public. But always fun streaming the press conference and having Spencer Danielson on and getting ready for the season. And not a ton of stuff, but we did get the release of the first depth chart on Saturday, Mike. A couple notable things, and it was just kind of funny. I mean, we all kind of thought Max Cutforth would be QB2. Congrats to him, the local product. We'll obviously get into that, but then sure enough, I'm not sure what this guy is. He stops and just stares at us in his little parking thing here, but Mike Prater's a celebrity. They see Mike Prater on campus. They're like, what's going on here? But Caleb Annett. Who knew? We all missed on that one, the backup punter.
Yeah, and going back, and I missed it because I was out of town, but I went back and listened to Spencer Danielson's press conference last night. And not only for him to list Caleb Annett as the punter, first of all, I didn't think he would list the backup quarterback because you don't want to keep that a mystery sometimes.
We thought that might be an or.
Yeah, I thought that would absolutely be an or. Not only did we not get an or there, we got a QB2. And then he goes out there, not only throws in Caleb Annett as the backup punter, then he dives into the press conference and flat out says he's back there for trick plays. Now, that's going to plant a seed. That's probably pretty smart. 9 times out of 10 that they show it, it's probably going to pull it. They're going to pull it back. And the one time that they do it, maybe it wins a football game. So I thought it was kind of a little bit bold for Spencer Danielson. I also his depth chart, and I went to Utah, and I don't talk about Utah an awful lot, but Kyle Whittingham said, I'm not putting out depth charts this year. If the Big 12 is making me do availability charts, putting out a depth chart. Well, here comes Spencer Danielson. Not only did he put out a depth chart that I think is pretty damn accurate. It might be the most accurate depth chart I've ever seen. He puts out a social media graphic. It's full of colors and brightness and all that kind of stuff. So
they weren't really hiding it.
No. I think that they're putting it out there, and I really think it's legit. It might be the most legit depth chart I've ever seen in terms of, because I always keep my own depth chart right here, and it's pretty close to matching up with everything that I thought I saw. There was a couple of different tweaks, but I applaud Spencer Danielson for giving that information, and he doesn't care. He said, here's my team. Here's what it looks like. Bring it on. Let's go.
And I would say the BNN team, the combination of us, had somebody pretty much at every practice. In most practices, multiple people at every practice. I don't say that to brag, but I would say the BNN KTIK team were pretty much the mainstays at practice. And I don't know if any of us saw or realized Caleb Annett might be in the mix at punting, though.
I never saw him punt once. And I can't say I sat there and looked for the
that was
punt.
kind of the one period where you would go get a drink of water at times.
Yes.
Yes.
So,
But I didn't see it.
No, I never saw it. I think it's all pretty good. So, and by the way, I did, my depth chart that I keep, you guys and our staff done a pretty good job in terms of the BNN, keeping track of that kind of stuff. And I compiled a couple pieces of nuggets, some of the guys that are, in terms of Nathan and Chris and what everybody else is doing. So kudos to the BNN team and just in terms of the depth chart, keeping everybody on top of the information. It was pretty damn solid this year.
Now, I don't think it was a huge surprise. We do see Sire Gaines or Malik Sherrod. Now, that may have been a surprise up until maybe a month ago or maybe even, a little further back, but just because of the availability of Sire Gaines not being out there for spring and then him coming along a little slow to start camp. But we get word. This always is, you'll see how the game goes. We're not going to hold him to this, but he expects the carries in the season opening game to be pretty close to 50-50 between those two.
Yeah, he said equal amount of carries. So, I said earlier this week, if Sire Gaines is healthy in practice and I want to see him get 30-plus carries, I need a workhorse. And if he's as good as advertised, I just want to see him go out there and bust. But you know what? They discovered a second one, and Sherrod has proven it. Not only did he prove it in the spring, he's proved it in the fall. He deserves it. In hindsight, it's smart. It makes sense going in. I think I'm with you. I was a little surprised. I thought I would see a Malik Sherrod. I'm sorry, a Sire Gaines number 1, a Malik Sherrod number 2, Dylan Riley number 3. We all knew that Breezy wasn't going to crack the top 3, so a little bit surprised there. And then again in his press conference, kind of filling in the gaps a little bit. Equal amount of carries. I can't wait to see how that plays out.
Who gets the first one?
It's got to be. I
think it's got to be Sire, but I don't know if it will be.
I'm going to go Sherrod.
Okay.
I'll throw a flyer at Sherrod. He deserves it. He's earned it. He's been there and he's been available since February 1st. Sire Gaines is not. And if you're going to play this game, if you're not going to make Sire Gaines the workhorse, Malik Sherrod should get the first carry.
You see behind us players starting to stream out onto the field for kind of the early walkthrough portions of practice. They're going to get going here about 9:15.
What is this, like Wednesday of game week? Or
this would be a
Wednesday of game week. Okay.
Yep. And tomorrow's a Thursday for them. So this is kind of their last, although I will say this, typically a Wednesday of game week, they are sometimes in full pads. I know Tuesdays are full pads. I don't see them in full pads today. So this might be a shells and shorts day today. But and we talked about the weather. They had this simulated practice, which was pretty cool last week out there in the rain. And then you watch, the Kansas State-Iowa State game, rain the whole game, horrible, sloppy game. I know that the weather app's not always correct. And I know in South Florida it rains for an hour and then it's not a full day constant rain. But looks like there's rain in the forecast every day the rest of this week down there in South Florida, including on Thursday afternoon. We'll see what happens, but they've had some weather issues. Obviously, the last couple times they've gone down there, the UCF game a couple years ago was delayed 3 hours because of storms. But, I kind of laughed at that practice the other day with the rain and all that, but it may come into play here on Thursday.
Yeah, those kinds of details matter.
Now.
Yeah, and there is rain and lightning in the forecast here in Boise, so you know what it's going to be happening in Florida. And I think it's really, really smart in terms. I'm talking like maybe Wednesday or Thursday.
Okay.
But it's really smart just to put that kind of detail. It's just a mindset thing. It's all it really is. Although you and I were standing and watching the receivers in that rainstorm that they simulated last week, and they were dropping a lot of balls. And that's where you get. That's where you're going to kind of build up the whatever you want to try to build up there in terms of, being confident and catching that football in their wet weather. So I thought it was smart. We put it all out there on social media, and, there's some trolls out there saying this is a dumb waste of time. But I thought it was an attention to detail. It was brilliant.
I thought South Florida and some other like Mountain West UNLV fans probably would laugh at it and think it was kind of embarrassing or dumb. But I mean, the whole simulation of going back in and then doing all that and then, spraying them down, thought there was some value to it.
I felt it. Plus, it felt good. The breeze and the mist for the media felt spectacular. So
Spencer Danielson was enjoying it a little too much, though, just spraying guys with the hose for 20 minutes.
He was squirting some people down. That was kind of funny.
I was expecting him to kind of make his way over towards us with the hose, but
I put my phone away just for that reason alone.
Anything else on the depth chart or stand out to you? I mean, we've talked a lot about the offensive line, and I think part of that, Mike, we might get a better answer here in about 15 minutes when we get over to the field and see. And I know they want to do some rotation. I think some of the oars may have been injury related, and some of these guys like a Kyneth hasn't been out there, a Hall Schmidt hasn't been out there the full fall camp. Are they ready to start? Are they ready to play a full game? Are they even the starter? I don't think there was any gamesmanship with some of those oars. I think they've got multiple guys ready to play, and it does sound like there'll maybe be a little bit of rotation and get some multiple guys in there. And partly that's other guys that earn spots, but partly some of these guys that are coming back from injury just maybe aren't prepared to play a full game yet.
Yeah, I agree. And there was 15 oars or 14 oars, 15 oars. And that was probably a little bit more than I thought, including what you talked about, a couple of the offensive lines in terms of Matoyer Schmidt over at the right tackle, and then the left guard, Kyneth and Jason Steele. So I'm with you. I mean, obviously, Kyneth and Schmidt have been limited since day one. Pre-press conference before spring camp or fall camp even started, Spencer Danielson said those guys would be limited, and they really were, and those other guys kind of stepped up. So, yeah, the offensive line, they're building some depth. They got some numbers there. I'm not going to be overly worried about it right now, but definitely going in with two starters. And then we talked about Gaines and Sherrod, and then Bates and Ford. That seems like a really, really good wide receiver battle. We'll see how that plays out. And then the slot wide receiver behind Caples in terms of Brown and Penry.
Yeah,
Penry really hasn't got any traction whatsoever in fall camp. So maybe that's one for the true freshman, one of four that made the depth chart.
Let's stay on the offense for a minute, and then we'll get to the defensive depth chart in a minute. But shout out Ben Ford. I mean, this is the guy that I still want to see improve it a little bit. I still want to see him out there on game day, but for a local kid, has just been buried on the depth chart, barely has ever played for most of his time here at Boise State, could have transferred down to a C of I, could have transferred to another school and tried to play somewhere else, but he waits out his turn, and this is 5-6 years for Ben Ford.
Yep.
And now we'll see what his production looks like, we'll see his playing time looks like, but to be listed as a co-starter on the depth chart for week one, I think a pretty cool accomplishment for Ben Ford.
Yeah, lots of injuries, lots of size limitations. Probably just a little bit limited in talent, but this is a bulldog, and he's grinding. And Spencer Danielson talked about him in the press conference over the weekend in terms of how proud he was and where he's come from and what he's been able to accomplish. So I think that's pretty cool. That's a really fun, slot wide receivers position with Caples, and then all of a sudden you got Ford and you got Bates in there. Those guys could be kind of a really fun group to watch. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. By the way, back to Cutforth. It's been since 1992 since a local high school kid started a football game at quarterback for Boise State. That was Travis Stewart, for those old guys, if you can remember. And thank you for the little heads up on that one, Tom Scott. But 1992, so, Max Cutforth is one play away from starting a football game and being a local high school kid for the first time in 33 years. That's kind of crazy.
And nothing against Max Cutforth, but I don't think anybody in Boise State Nation wants to see that right now.
No. I don't want to see Max Cutforth. I don't want to see Caleb Annette. It's a major drop off. There's enough conversation surrounding Maddox Madsen right now. We don't need to deal with QB2.
Yeah, and a couple of the other spots. I mean, you mentioned Cam Bates. I'm actually going to chat one-on-one with him after practice today. We'll get that video up on the Bronco Nation News YouTube channel. I mean, he's had a kind of a quiet spring, I would say, not nervous fall. I wouldn't necessarily say bad fall. Just we expect more from him, and he's probably going to, but I am curious to see his next step forward. And then to see Chris Marshall listed as a starter on this depth chart. He may be the most guy I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do on Thursday night, because I think we kept waiting, prove it. I confirmed during the press conference, Spencer Danielson saying Chris Marshall did not miss a single practice of fall camp, and to have Chris Marshall out there all fall, you unleash him on Thursday. I mean, we saw it, Mike Prater, and there's not too many DBs that can stop Chris Marshall, particularly down there in the red zone. If Chris Marshall plays, 50 snaps or whatever on Thursday's game, I don't think him getting 6, 7, 8 catches in this first game's out of the question.
I told the buddy over the weekend that Chris Marshall is the new Ashton Genty. that for one way and one way only. The season opener surprise factor, and we weren't surprised by Ashton Genty's success against Georgia Southern last year, but going for 285 and 6 or whatever the number was, that surprised us. That was the talking point coming out of that. Is that what it was? 267 and 6. That was the talking point coming out of the season opener last year. Chris Marshall's going to be that guy. I'm with you. I think he might get 8 to 10 balls. I think he might get 130 yards. I think he might get 2 or 3 touchdowns. I'm pushing out big numbers. He probably won't get those kind of numbers, but I think we're going to come away going, holy cow. That's why they brought him in. That's why they brought in the baggage. That's why we waited for 14, 15 months for Chris Marshall to get on the football field. And that's why Spencer Danielson has been saying all the things he's been saying about Chris Marshall. I think Chris Marshall is going to be a rock star on Thursday.
I mean, maybe we need to wait one more game, to maybe one more week to let him prove it in a game. But with what I saw from fall camp on a consistent basis, if he plays a decent amount of snaps in this game, I just don't see how he doesn't make some sort of impact.
If he does everything that you just said in terms of being healthy, being smart, being on the field, he's the best wide receiver in the Mountain West, and it's not even close.
Well, looking forward to seeing Chris Marshall. Also, how about the kicking battle? We got a comment in here. How about Boomer? I'm not going to lie. I was a little bit surprised, in part because Boomer has been in. We were told that by Stacy Collins. That's okay to say publicly that they shut him down for a week or a few days because of some sort of injury. Jarrett Reeser, you had the other true freshman at the skip, more in the mix as well for a while there. Spencer Danielson did say the kicking battle is one that can continue, and it's not like he's guaranteeing all season long this is going to be their kicker. But a little notable, I thought that we get an or there either. We get a starter. It's Colton Boomer, the UCF transfer at kicker.
I'm not in terms of the accuracy, I'm not a big fan of the Reeser kid. I think Reeser's got the most dominant leg, and I did notice on the kickoffs there's an or there as well in terms of Reeser and I think it was Boomer on the kickoffs. But Reeser's got the more powerful leg, but I think he's got I know he's got a major accuracy issue because I've watched him in practice and it concerns me. Colton Boomer is a way more accurate kicker. He doesn't have the power, and I don't know if that's based on his ankle surgery from last year and he's still trying to get it back. We know he had this setback, like you said, about the injuries in camp. So maybe there's a little bit of 3 to 5 yards of missing power from Colton Boomer, but he's by far the most accurate kicker.
Well, you look at his stats the last year and a half at UCF, they weren't great either.
No, they weren't. He's coming in with a question mark. It's crazy in terms of not only is Boise State going to replace 2 of the best special teamers in school history in JFR and Jonah Dalmas last year, we got 2 guys this year that we don't have any idea what they're talking about. Backups with the oars on the depth chart, and we don't know what we're talking about there. It's kind of scary to think. Not only that, they're new players. They're not allowed to talk to the media. We could go the entire season and not talk to the starting kicker, not talk to the starting punter. I think that's a storyline we have to keep an eye on for sure.
Another storyline when it's game week, you already have the opponents infiltrating your chat with a trash talk here. We've got Frank saying your receivers are bad, the weather's going to be bad, and you're going to feel the wrath of South Florida. You chumps.
Bring it on. Bring it on.
Mike Prater getting called a chump on a Monday morning.
That hurts on a Monday morning.
And AP, maybe one of the biggest negative naysayers at times, says he's calling it BSU by double digits.
Wow.
On Thursday. The spread is holding steady at 6.
Yep.
And I'll throw that up here on the screen for a second, Mike Prater. You just said you were just down in Jackpot. I was down at Circa recently. This is the odds from Circa Sports. And I don't know if you're aware of this or not, Mike Prater, but 63.5, the largest over-under of week 1. It's Boise State and South Florida.
I saw that on social media. I think that was a BJ Rains tweet that I woke up to this morning, so I had no idea. And that's pretty cool. 63. That's good for the entertainment factor, if nothing else.
I would say if there's projected weather, though, the under might be the strong play there initially.
Now you're thinking like a gambler. I love it.
63.5. Boise State, you see there on the upper left-hand corner, -6 right now. These odds are from our sponsor at Circa Sports. One of the first games to get going on Thursday in week 1. Boise State -6. That spread was as high as 8.5, even 9 at some point earlier this summer, and it's now sitting at 6.
Yeah, I saw a 9, and at one point I saw 5.5. So it went from 9 to 5.5, and now back up and steady at 6. We'll see how it plays. So I think that's kind of settling in. We might get a 5.5 or 6.5 by kickoff, but I think we're pretty close to what the reality is here.
I was over at Uncle Bob's finalizing our plans yesterday, Mike Prater. Really, really looking forward to this. Hope you guys will plan to join us Thursday. Uncle Bob's Pizza, 3:30 kickoff. We're going to have all kinds of giveaways. They're going to raffle off some gift cards, I think $4 $25. To Uncle Bob's Pizza. They're going to have half-price alcohol, and that means like $2.50 beers or something on Thursday all game long. They're going to have great drink specials, $5 off. By the way, John, if you know this now, but these Steel Brothers now have their own pizza at Uncle Bob's. Nice. And you get a $5 discount there on that. So join us at Uncle Bob's Pizza Thursday, game day. Going to be a lot of fun. Cannot wait to get over there on a Thursday. Uncle Bob's Pizza. And we'll be doing a live halftime show and a live post-game show at Uncle Bob's. So if you're getting off work early, looking for a spot to watch a game with your friends, maybe you've never been to Uncle Bob's. It's out on the corner of Locust Grove and McMillan, kind of pretty close to Settlers Park area, back in there behind the the Coles and all that stuff there on Ustick Road. Awesome spot. Really highly recommend. Tremendous pizza. I don't know if everyone's had the pizza there or not, but it's tremendous pizza, awesome spot. And the BNN team will be there in full force doing a halftime show and a post-game show. So make sure you join us at Uncle Bob's Pizza in Meridian Thursday for the 3:30 kickoff. Hey, rowpaint.com, our title sponsor. We appreciate them. All your painting needs, Andy Rowe and Company, rowpaint.com, whether it's those concrete coatings, interior, exterior painting, hit up our title sponsor, rowpaint.com. Idaho Central Credit Union, 7. Look at that graphic, Mike Prater. Who would have thought it back in the day? 7 Boise State athletes supporting Idaho Central Credit Union. Idaho Central Credit Union. Now, if you look right there, Mike Prater, they got their logo right there on the outside of the stadium. Yes, they got it on the inside of the stadium as well. Idaho Central Credit Union back in the fold as an official partner of Boise State Athletics. So Mike and I are both ICCU members. Return the favor. Make the switch to ICCU today. Idaho Central Credit Union. Get more information at ICCU.com. Taco Bell, another big supporter with their endowed scholarships for the men's basketball teams, the SON Management Group, the Nicolason family. We appreciate that. Now, they got those new street chalupas, all kinds of great options there at Taco Bell. So TacoBellWorks.com, you can get more information and apply for a job. They are hiring as well, but some great new food options at Taco Bell. And you need to get out there and visit a Treasure Valley Taco Bell location today. By the way, my kid is having tremendous luck. We're still arguing over what we're going to do with the Cage Casey card.
1 of 1, baby.
My kid may not last night have pulled a JVR autographed card as well.
Nice.
That was 1 of 30, not 1 of 1. So not maybe quite as rare, but I think it might be a little easier for me to get my kid to part ways with the Cage Casey card now that he has a Jaden Virgin Morgan one as well. But we have like 20 free packs at home. We're at Jackson's after my kid goes to do some baseball practice yesterday, and we're in Jackson's. Can I buy a pack of cards? And I'm like, you know what? We'll support the sponsors. We'll buy a pack of cards. And in the car on the way home, he pulls an autographed Jaden Virgin Morgan card.
Nice.
So my kid's got some pretty good luck here in terms of the $12.99. Go to Jackson's, buy your cards. They are now available pretty much in every Jackson's around town. Support them with the trading card, and that's coming up on. You can get them right now. But on Thursday, Mike Prater, what is more likely? The Breezy bundle, Breezy Dubar getting in the end zone, or the Latrell Caples touchdown? Where are you going?
Yeah, we're probably going to have to go with Latrell Caples, not to throw out a football, but I'm not sure we're even going to see Breezy Dubar. I haven't seen him much in camp, and I know Spencer talked about that. So this is, I mean, Breezy's going to get his chances, no doubt about that. The Breezy bundle is going to be alive and well, but let's go with Latrell Caples on Thursday.
Well, that'd be a 49-cent soft drink after Latrell Caples gets the touchdown. That'll be the Monday following the game, so hopefully you guys can take advantage of that. And we had fun last Monday. I think this is 2 Mondays in a row. I'm making Mike do a show. The Blue and Orange Store, awesome spot. The blueandorangestore.com. They got their jerseys, all their NIL gear, their caps, everything there. So the Blue and Orange Store at the Boise State Hall of Fame. They're open during normal business hours. And what did we find out? 6 kiosks around the stadium next Friday night as well.
That's crazy to me. Not only, like you said, in the Hall of Fame gallery, but parking lots, tailgating, entrances to the stadium. I think
he set up on University in the corner. I think
so. Up in the corner, there may even be one inside the stadium. I might be wrong there, but they're going to be all over the place. What a cool concept and really smart move by Boise State and Travis from the Blue and Orange Store.
Hey, by the way, Lithia Florida Boise, their fall kickoff sales underway. But we talked. I know you saw the deal where Cage Casey's going to donate to Mike Prater for blocks. Well, he's got an NIL deal with Lithia Florida Boise. They are going to match the $300 for charity as well. So they are going to match it. Every pancake block, they're donating $300. They're also stepping up Kenzie McMillan on the soccer team. She has a deal going where she's trying to raise some money for some less fortunate folks as well. They're going to pledge $500 a goal, $250 an assist for Kenzie McMillan, and goal number 2. So Lithia Florida Boise has already committed $1,000 to help Kenzie and her charities as well. So Lithia Florida Boise, we appreciate them. Not surprised, Mike Prater, that Jim Sturk and company are stepping up, but cool to see that Lithia Florida Boise donating to charity as well. And you look around, a lot of these coaches' cars, administrators' cars, a lot of a lot of Lithia, Florida, Boise vehicles. So we appreciate them for support of Bronco Nation News. All right, on the defensive depth chart, Mike Prater, couple freshmen listed on there. Arthur DeBochi makes it on. He had that viral hit. Bull as well makes it there at one of the outside defensive line positions. So any thoughts on the defensive depth chart? Couple young guys. Any other surprises there?
No, not a lot of real surprises. This is kind of how it's shaped out in fall camp. In fall camp, and nose tackle, you got Latu in Washington. That's going to be a pretty good battle. The backup spot behind Feely is going to be Madre and Maloto. Madre kind of started off as the number one nose tackle in camp, and got injured, missed a couple of practices, didn't quite get the traction, so he kind of lost some progress there in fall camp. And then the edge spot with Bull and Lane, a couple of newcomers behind Jaden Virgin Morgan. I thought that was very interesting. As you mentioned, I know we're going to finish off with this defense, and there's a really cool battle going on in nickel, but 4 true freshmen here. 2 of them are from Texas. Those are both wide receivers. And then the defensive guys, 1 from Canada and 1 from the Netherlands.
Yeah, no, you go down, I was looking in like reverse order of their roster. Those guys in the 90s there, they had like 4 or 5 countries represented in the I know at one point last year, Michael Callahan, that defensive line group, they were calling themselves the United Nations, nice. Because of some of this, or whatever, for all the different countries and things that are represented. But no, they've found them in different ways. And that defensive line, I asked Eric Chenander about it, but they lost a lot of guys, and that is a storyline for me. I'm very curious, this defensive line, this new look defensive line. You've got Braxton Feely back, but I think I counted 6 of the 11 that are listed weren't even on the team last year. I don't think so. In terms of the defensive line, only 2 or 3 are guys that really played or fans know much about. You're talking about 7, 8 guys really that haven't played much at all on this defensive line. And obviously it's there's a tradition of strong defensive line play around here and stopping the run and all the sacks they had last year. And you're replacing the, Callahan and Gunn and Newton and all these guys, and then you go to the outside replacing Ahmed and stuff. There's some big shoes to fill for this defensive line, and it's a lot of guys other than a Braxton Feely or a Madre or a Steege or a JVM. It's a lot of new guys that fans are going to be finding out Thursday night and seeing them for the first time.
Yeah, even like a Bull. I know he's listed on the depth chart as a true freshman. I'm not sure how much he's going to play behind Jaden Virgin Morgan. I want to see that cat on the field as much as possible. But in terms of just getting a true freshman, it's one thing to have a couple wide receivers, just based on the talent, especially these kids coming out of Texas. A kid coming out of high school and straight into the starting lineup at a physical position like defensive end or edge rusher. That to me tells me that Bull could be a really amazing player around here for a couple of years.
I was trying to think about that, Mike Prater, in terms of a true freshman making a depth chart along the line. And I know edge is a little different than like a D tackle or something, but it hasn't happened around here too often.
No. Out for me that this is a true freshman who's physically ready to play football right now. That's a big statement.
Kip says, I called it. Prater, Sherrod getting the or for first string. I think a lot of us probably might have saw that coming. Did you think it was going to be?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm with you.
Surprised to see Ganter not get an or designation. That kid looks talented. That's from It's Keaton, who, by the way, It's Keaton. What's up, Keaton? Got to see him. He lives in Vegas now, and I randomly was coming down from the pool at Circa. I'm still dripping wet. I'm trying to get ready to head back to get changed for the airport. And Keaton with his little hat. He had just signed up for the Survivor contest there at Circa, him and his dad. So hopefully they'll win that, and I'll get a cut of that. But Ganter, your thought? He makes the depth chart, but he's listed as the backup.
Yeah, and I think Ganter, Brooks, and Washington. I can't speak a lot for Brooks, but Ganter and Washington had a lot of battles in camp right now. That doesn't surprise me one bit. I wasn't quite sure if it was going to be Washington or Ganter or Washington, but there's a lot of football to be played there. And as Spencer Danielson said, this depth chart will change dramatically going from the South Florida game to game number 2. 15 or battles, and I think I think most of them are about competition. You pointed out a couple of them are about injuries. You can't do much about that, but most of them are about competition, and I think we're going to see some separation on Thursday.
I would say sometimes an or is they sometimes don't want the other team to know who it's going to be. Sometimes they don't want to tell another guy that he's not the starter or put him down in terms of negatively impact him or make him want to transfer or whatever. But I think in this case, a lot of it is true competition, and they do think both guys are going to play, and they don't have a clear favorite right now.
Yeah, no, I think so, and that's good. There's lots of competition all over this place. That's exactly what Spencer Danielson's trying to been preaching in fall camp, is the competition, and especially on that defense. 7 positions have ors, which is all, and I don't think any of these are about Yeah, Madre had a little bit of an injury issue in camp, but I think this is all about competition on the defensive side.
Bronco 130 saying the or designation will keep Sire Gaines hungry. Do you buy that? Or
No, I don't think Sire Gaines even knows there's an or on the depth chart. That dude is so locked in and so motivated and so sophisticated with the way he thinks. He doesn't. No, that doesn't matter to Sire Gaines.
Mike, as we kind of get 3 days away from kickoff and we start to hear, Marco Notriani and Jaden Virgin Morgan, and today we're going to hear from Maddox Madsen, but especially on Saturday's press conference, hearing from a lot of these coaches really start to dive into the X's and O's of this game and really start talking about South Florida. The quarterback, Brown, I mean, he gets scarier and scarier the more you hear him and you read about him and you watch some of his film. I mean, he rushed for over 100 yards against Alabama last year. We mentioned 2 years ago was one of only 2 quarterbacks in the nation, along with Daniels, who was the rookie of the year in the NFL, to have 3,000 passing yards, 800 rushing yards. And their tempo offensively, they were the number 1 in the country last year, fastest between plays. They get it, and they hurry up to the line, and they run another play. And Marco Notriani said it's not the most complex offense. It's pretty simple. They don't have a ton of plays because they go so fast. It's pretty basic, but they just try to get up there and run a play before you're ready and find a gap or a hole or some guy at the right spot at the right time. So it's pretty simple from that standpoint. But in the first game, where conditioning could be an issue down in Florida, you're going to be facing an offense that really wants to go, and they have kind of the perfect quarterback for that. Defensively, at least early in this game, Boise State's going to face a big challenge.
Yeah, and I think maybe it's even going to suck up and get them maybe later on in the game, and I kind of smell maybe a little bit of a Georgia Southern type of game where obviously Boise State jumps out and is pretty dominant early, but then you hang on in this offensive slugfest, and we already saw Circus making Boise, South Florida the highest over-under for the entire, what did you say, 63, 64 points? 63 and a lot of that's because of that offense. A lot of that's because of the up-tempo style that they run. And Brown's going to get it, and Brown has got a couple really, really, really good. Frankly, though, and I'm not going to sit here and tell you I've studied the team as much as I probably should have. I don't see a lot of other serious weapons. So if you can contain their passing game and if you can contain Brown, he's going to hurt you on second and third down. He's going to pick up first downs when you think you got him locked up. It's going to be frustrating, and I think maybe the conditioning is going to get Boise State later on in the game. Maybe Boise State has like a couple of touchdown lead here, and all of a sudden South Florida scores and makes in the fourth quarter. I think it's going to be one of those butt-clinching games in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I do think as this game gets closer that it's like, man, like I think a lot of people just assume this is a win for Boise State, and it's going to be a really tough game. And I mean, Spencer, like every coach likes to hype up their opponent and all this, but I mean, he really did say this is going to be one of the best players they play all year and one of the best teams they end up playing all year. Certainly Notre Dame's going to be talented. You've got UNLV at home and all this, but I mean, the more you look at it, this South Florida game is going to be one of the tougher games this year. And by the way, Buster Bronco is just riding around on campus here. I don't know if we can get to. Hey, Buster, we're live right here. We got Buster Bronco. Buster Bronco's right here riding by. I don't know if you can see Buster or not. There goes Buster. They got
there he goes.
First day of class, just welcoming folks, I guess. There goes Buster Bronco. But this may be a win, Mike Prater, where 2 months from now you look up and South Florida's at least decent. I mean, they're a bowl team this year. They were picked, upper third, I think middle of the American. But their coach, again, you look into this stuff, and maybe it's just week one. We're diving into this. They're gonna crush them by 30, and you go, oh, we should have seen this coming. But I do think that you look in it, and they've made some improvement under this coaching staff, and they have a lot of excitement and for good reason down there in South Florida. I do think if they're able to get this win, it'll end up being one of their better wins of the season.
There's only 3 teams on this Boise State football schedule capable of beating Boise State. I think that there's 9 wins you can absolutely lock in, and the 3 potential losses. And I do think Boise State's going to beat South Florida, but it's going to be South Florida. It's going to be the road trip to Air Force, and it's going to be Notre Dame. Those are the only, in my mind, the only potential losses here. So yeah, USF is scary, but I just don't think they have the complete team. Air Force, they have I'm not sure they have the complete team, but they have the logistics. Here comes Notre Dame. That is the complete team. South Florida's great scheme on offense. They got a great quarterback. They've got a couple of good wide receivers. And frankly, after that, nothing else scares me. So if Boise State does what it has to do to take care of business, I think that they should be okay. I like that 6-point spread. I like Boise State in that spread situation, but this is going to be a tough game. It's certainly one of the toughest 3 on the schedule.
Hey, Snake River Pool and Spa Patio and Game. Check them out, thespateam.com. Locations in Twin Falls, Boise, Meridian, Nampa. They've been around since 1978. They're part of the Boise State home team, whether it's a sauna, a spa, pool table. They got you covered. Check them out online at thespateam.com. Matt Bauscher and Bauscher Real Estate. #1 ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley is Matt Bauscher and Bauscher Real Estate. Whether you're buying or selling a home, make sure you check out Matt Bauscher and Bauscher Real Estate. Best in the business, bought and sold our home with Matt and his team. Did a tremendous job. We appreciate them. Matt Bauscher, BauscherRealEstate.com. Hey, Shop Ridley's. They got 13 locations in the state of Idaho, surrounding states. Check them out as well. ShopRidleys.com. Download that Skip app. Get savings up to 40% off at the checkout line. Love that Cuno location, McCall as well. Just a friendly environment, that hometown feel when you walk into a grocery store at Ridley's. So Ridley's Family Markets, ShopRidleys.com. Hey, if you're looking for a job, how about the trucking industry, transportation compliance service, local company helping out folks all lined up into the trucking industry. Transcompservice.com, whether it's DOT, overweight, all the permits and paperwork, let the professionals handle it. Check it out at Transcompservice.com. I know you're going to have a post-game show, Mike Prater. We're going to have a post-game show as well. We want to hear from folks. We don't trust the live callers like you guys do. We'll take the voicemails, speakpipe.com/BNN. Leave us a voicemail. We'll get to it on the post-game show. We got Michael Callahan, Chris, and Nathan kicking it off. I'll jump in about an hour in from South Florida. So hopefully you guys will all be partying at Uncle Bob's Pizza in the background, making some noise, heckling our hosts. But leave us a voicemail, speakpipe.com/BNN. We want to hear your post-game thoughts for the post-game show, brought to you by Signature Roofing, covering our community for more than 2 decades. Whether it's a repair, an estimate, or inspection, make sure you check us out at speakpipe.com/BNN and our sponsor, Signature Roofing. By the way, tomorrow night, Riley and Rid, they'll have Michael Callahan and Brad Bedell, which means the drinks will be flowing on that one. So that'll be a good show you won't want to miss. 8 o'clock tomorrow night. The team is flying out, so we can't get a current player tomorrow night, but it'll be Brad Bedell, Michael Callahan, Riley and Rid live at the James Kitchen and Bar tomorrow near Albertson Stadium. So come join us live, 8 o'clock tomorrow. Riley and Rid, looking forward to a season. Prater, did you see the uniform combination that South Florida is going with?
I did not. I missed that one.
South Florida is going all black.
Oh, you know what? I did see that because somebody was making fun of them. So the Florida heat, the Florida humidity, the Florida mist and the rain, and the Florida lightning and thunder, and let's throw out a black uniform. I did see some of that. Boise State fans, that is an interesting choice.
Yeah, and you mentioned the conditioning in the second half. I mean, traditionally in these games, Boise State that's when they've excelled. Later in the game, the Florida State game, it was Florida State's players cramping there later in the game.
That's right.
And some of these other, Georgia Southern. Those guys were saying once the sun went down in the third quarter there, they felt like it was fine the rest of the game there in Georgia Southern. So I think they had 4 infernos, which is even more than they've had in the past. They've done some of the other stuff, moving the practices to the afternoon. You talk to these guys, I would assume they'll be in the all white probably to match that stormtrooper look the first game. So it's going to be all white uniforms. And then South Florida coming out trying to maybe whether it's intimidation or whatever, the heat don't bother us. This Florida, we're going all black. Very curious in the second half how that'll play out.
Yeah, that's a very interesting choice. And I don't think Boise State's announced its Stormtrooper white yet, have they?
No, they have not announced. I was guessing that.
I totally expect that as well. So advantage Boise State even before kickoff. I like it.
They did send out a video, or one of those the climb episodes showed one of the equipment guys putting Chase Penry's helmet together, and it was blue. And so I was thinking maybe they're getting that ready for next week for the home opener. I don't know, but maybe they go blue helmet with white, jersey and pants. But I would assume it's going to be largely white. The only thing I know, which keep this in mind, it might be blue pants. Our man Dale Holste does not like grass stains on the white pants.
That's right.
And they're wearing. This is a grass field.
That's right.
And so it really would not surprise me. Maybe if it's a white blue. Or a blue-white blue. I don't think, now that I think about it, I'm not sure Stormtrooper is a lock, given that Dale Holste really, and I know it's not all about that, but he really does push for that. The grass stains on the white pants are tough for him.
Yeah, that's brutal. And he knows. And somewhere between here and Nebraska or wherever the big giant equipment truck is, I saw it take off over the weekend. They already know those uniforms are packed in that truck, and somebody knows the answer to that. And they'll obviously blast that out on social media here over the next day or two, but that'll be very interesting. It's the gamesmanship in the uniforms. We've officially reached the end of a very long offseason.
It has, yeah. We're talking uniforms and, captains and all that stuff now at this point. But, Mike, what for you as we kind of wrap this up here, we're going to talk to Spencer tomorrow. We're going to get Maddox Madsen and Max Cutforth, by the way, gets to talk today. But these last kind of 72 hours before kickoff here, what are kind of the final thoughts, storylines, things you're going to be tracking here on Idaho Sports Talk, running through your mind and fans' minds as we get closer to kickoff here?
As I got back last night and I was listening to the Spencer Danielson press conference, and you know this as well as anybody, one of his favorite words is conflict and chaos. And he's done a really great job in camp creating conflict and chaos in case that kind of stuff shows up. guys, it's been anything but at Boise State. This is a fairly healthy football team. There's 108 players that started fall camp. There's 108 players that finished fall camp. And there's no serious injuries. Nobody's gotten in trouble. It's been smooth sailing. So my question to you is, when the first thing of conflict? When is going to be the first crisis of chaos that's going to come? How's Boise State going to handle it? Right now, it seems very peaceful and very calm. And if I'm Spencer Danielson, I'm going to bed at night feeling, when's something going to happen? It's been, knock on wood, it's been a really smooth camp. And I think it's been really, really good for this football team, but it doesn't always work out that way. So I'm just, you know me, I'm the negative. Wait till something negative happens, but there's going to be some conflict. There's going to be some chaos. Right now, it's beautifully peaceful. It's a great day out here. The birds are chirping. The mowers are going. Buster just went by, and the students are coming back to class.
No one's failing a class yet. They're all got a perfect A right now.
Exactly. It's like everybody's undefeated, and everybody's got a perfect report card. When is the crisis going to happen, and how is Boise State going to respond?
Well, they have just started the stretching period. It's 9:20 exactly. They're on schedule today, Mike, so we are available to go inside. We only get a few minutes, so we're going to jump in there today. We get to watch the whole practice. We can only videotape and report for the first 3 periods. So I'm heading to the offensive line. There's a couple of spots I want to see who's out there. How healthy is this team going into game week? So we'll get that stuff for you up on the BNN message boards later today. You guys will be all over it. 3 days of coverage here on Idaho Sports Talk, getting you set for Thursday as well. So appreciate you for battling traffic and getting up early today, Mike, and jumping on. And it's going to be fun, man. These next couple of days are going to go kind of slow, I think, trying to get to Thursday. But game week's here, and we get a little early game week on a Thursday. Should be fun.
This is why we do it, guys, and this is why you guys are fans, and everybody have a great week. Safe travels to you, and cannot wait to get this thing started 3:30 on a Thursday afternoon. When we first found out it was 3:30 on a Thursday afternoon, why? Now I can't wait.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So appreciate you guys. Go subscribe, BroncoNationNews.com. We'll have you covered. We had a staff meeting. I made them do a 9 o'clock staff meeting on a Sunday, Mike Prater.
I'm meeting Johnny and Bob in there for our staff meeting right now.
We were talking last night, planning out the week and all the stories, and it's going to be an awesome week. We got a ton of coverage planned. Perfect time. We only have 3 days left on our fall camp coverage. You get $5 a month. And that deal is ending here on Thursday. So jump in now, $5 a month, BroncoNationNews.com. Get ready for the season. We're going to have tons of coverage and looking forward to getting down to Florida and having coverage in Florida and here. And it's going to be, snap count, recap, PFF grades, all that stuff on Friday. I mean, we got all kinds of stuff coming. So go subscribe, BroncoNationNews.com. Listen to Idaho Sports Talk, 3 o'clock today, 3 o'clock every day. And we'll have Maddox Madsen, Max Cutforth. They'll have clips on their show. We'll get that video up on our YouTube channel later today. We're going to go into practice, check our Twitter, check our message boards. We'll let you know what's happening. Appreciate you guys. Talk to you at 9 a.m. tomorrow, and we'll see you in the message boards over at BNN. Take care.
Bronco fans, the new Boise State trading cards are here, and you can only get them at Jackson's.
Start collecting them today.
Jackson's, let's go!
It's the fall kickoff sale at Lithia Ford of Boise. It's the best time to trade in and trade up to a new Ford truck or SUV with the room to haul your payload or playload. Visit Lithia Ford of Boise, where Ford begins in Idaho.